Hello everyone. This is a little off-topic video, but recently there's been some discussions going around on the interwebs, and it's mainly about the insta-kill environmental hazards in For Honor and their kind of status in For Honor. As with recent changes to some maps, they have become less common in some spots, but personally, I think these are great changes for most of these maps, and in fact, I think they, with the mines to the new River Fort changes, they didn't go far enough. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. I'll get into it in the video, but recently I've seen a lot of people very upset over changes to maps like this, where they're covering up ledges and other environmentals, calling it baby proofing and stupid shit like that. And, normally I would treat this as, you're just stupid and wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I guess in this one case, it's more of a subjective argument. And there might be people who really do want these environmental hazards in these maps and perfectly enjoy them. And I understand that if that's your opinion, but I just want to make this video to show why it's not baby proofing and why there's still more than enough ledges on most fucking maps, and how many instances you could be insta killed, and what the actual counterplay is to it most of the times. So I'm gonna jump right in the game and show you. Alright, so the first example I want to talk about is Sion High Fort. Now, I recently read a comment on YouTube, you know how those go. And this is on the subject of the, what is it called? The baby proofing of hazards on points. Let's take a look here and see how many insta kill hazards are on this point. Now, with the recent changes to the High Fort, there has been this addition of these bridge railings over here. As you can see, they've taken away these random spikes right here, right? And they added more railings over here. Now let's just take a look at this point for a second and see how baby proofed it is. We got, just on this side alone, there's 3 different places you can get insta killed. You're sitting there, you're doing your thing, you're externally blocking stuff, and suddenly you're in a black zone. Then big scary raider character comes along and he does this big orange charge move, and then you're fucking dead instantly because you blocked an attack. Does that sound very interactive to you? Oh, but just position yourself better. You could position yourself in here too, and be at this angle where you can get thrown by just about any character to the side here. Like, I don't see the counter arguments here. There's just, there's at least almost 10 points on here where you can instantly get killed, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's not like it's hard to fucking camp these areas still. Like, I can still invisible bear trap, like, right here and shit. And then just, if some guy gets in here, I can make it all the way to this hole right here. There's nothing stopping me from getting that. It's not hard. A crib with one fence side on it is not baby proof. That's a bed with a headboard. And with anything in For Honor, this has been a discussion that's been had a million times over since the game's been released, I'm sure. But the point is, it's just, like, do you really need this many hazards on any point? Does every point need to be, like, have 3/5 of it be ledges or spikes or plunge points or something? Is that fun? Do you find enjoyment with having the chance of randomly dying to some RNG factor? Is that just entertaining to you? I don't get it. I don't see the appeal. I honestly don't. The other spot they sealed up was right here at this staircase. And this is probably one of the better cases of a more nuanced change that actually improved this point, because, like I said, back to invisible bear traps, I just put a bear trap here and this becomes a death trap. Even if this trap was completely visible, if I had to come up here and, like, roll to trigger this, or, like, even, like, back roll out of it like that, it's going to make me vulnerable to being charged off this point still. Or taking a hit from, like, if I'm Warlord right here and I'm camping this, like, body blocking this point, and some dude rolls in front of my trap, I can just zone him and get free damage. Alright, so another map that's recently had some, I don't know if it's recent, but it's had some changes. As you may have As you may have known, at some point there used to be... There wasn't railings here at all. I think it was just poles, even. And this was just all open. And still, this whole point potentially opens you up to dying instantly, still. This whole... If you're ever on this side of the point, you're always open to this hole. Right? But if you just go over here, then you're open on this one. Which is a little bit more slim, but still, it's to the point where you have to put yourself in one of these stupid-ass corners or something if you absolutely want to position better. But, you know, the thing is, the other dilemma with map designs is this stupid mechanic where you have limited iframes in tight spaces or with opponents on your external guard or something like that. And then this whole dilemma gets even stupider with the mechanic of random weapon collision. Like you saw that first heavy, it went through the pole basically, but it's at some point where you have to know where the invisible hitbox is to determine if your attack's gonna bounce off and get you killed. Which also puts you in the recovery, opening you up to get thrown to one of these 3 ledges. Here's another place too, which encompasses most of the entry on here, where you're gonna be instantly plunged from there. You can get thrown off here and get instantly plunged, and then, you know, it's just... how could you call this baby-proofing? This map is still just full of death traps. And so far, the maps I've showed you, these are all in the competitive map pool. These are things they're playing in tournaments right now. And they still are just these death traps. Now, I may be having some trouble getting my point across here, but generally, what most of us agree on within the competitive community is that insta-kill hazards should not be on cap points. These are where the team fighting happens, where the point contesting happens, where stalling happens. It's where, you know, it's not point rotations, basically, right? It's where the fighting should be happening. And in those situations, you shouldn't just be, lol, I just die because, you know, I'm stuck in a second of recovery or whatever, you know? Just so many situations where you could just die instantly because of, you know, some positioning, when your reality is you're locked into a corner by 3 people. That's not positioning. That's called getting fucked. You're not outplayed. You're not some 200 IQ genius for, you know, hitting some dude who's parrying with your charge and instantly killing him. No, it's... And I still do understand that people like the mechanics of insta-kill, and they like getting ledges and etc. But when you're really in a team fight where you're dedicated to winning and you're sweating hard, and then all that's kind of robbed from you from just some stupid RNG factor, like, you know, hitting a wall and then getting thrown off, or just going insta out of stamina and then getting guard broken, thrown off something 40 feet away. It's just, like, you just think to yourself, why the fuck is that there? Why does this whole point need to be half a ledge? Why does Beachhead's fucking A point exist? Like, there's so many maps that have so many blaring issues, and currently, with regards to the competitive map pool I mentioned earlier, there's only 5 maps they're playing right now. 5. There's 5 maps total, from what I know. And right now, even, I heard they're banning traps, because at this point, they just ban whatever they think that Ubisoft will put attention to and actually fix. But, you know, at this point, it's ridiculous, man. So I hope I could kind of shine some more perspective onto why there's this overabundance of environmental hazards. I'm not saying necessarily, too, that there shouldn't be no environmental hazards on cap points. I just don't think that every single location on the point should always expose you to one of them. Or why there needs to be even multiple in the first place. Or why points need to be so limited with how much space they have on them. Like, what's wrong with open spaces? If you can't make open spaces where team fights can happen, why can't you just remove random weapon collision on, like, poles and shit, so that I don't hit a post and go into recovery, or I have to do this specific punish that requires me being a guard, but oh no, there's a random invisible wall here. You know, dude, I just got outplayed. This isn't game knowledge. This is just being lucky. These aren't things you have control of. It's legitimately bullshit. Now, I could go into another whole rant about weapon collision, current stamina system, a bunch of other stuff that really limits the ability to press buttons, even in 4v4 game modes, which I'm mainly playing at the moment. And I'm not even like playing super sweaty try-hard shit at the moment. I get ledged, I don't care. And I understand that's how a lot of you feel too. And one last point I'd like to make about, countering these whole insta-kill mechanics. Realistically, the way to counter these consistently is to do nothing. Literally nothing. And that's kind of the crux behind this whole argument I'm trying to put out here. These insta-kill hazards make whatever you do in a team fight unnecessarily risky, for no reason. Attacking For Honor is already risky enough, and that's why we play 4v4s, so we can have teammates peel for us, and it's a lot more entertaining that way. And, there's the whole relocking aspect where you can hit people on external and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But that's all just thrown out the window when, you go into recovery and get thrown off a ledge or something like that. It's just not fun, just simply put. When you're just playing to get XP and steal and whatever, you don't even think about this stuff. So don't make me pull out my Warlord out of retirement to prove a point. Or don't make me play Raider either, because that character's... fucking Raider. Anyways, thanks for listening to whatever this fucking video is. It was poorly formatted. It's half a rant. I'm just trying to prove whatever I can. Hopefully convince somebody. I'll probably put a poll at the beginning of the video so you can give me your opinion before you watched all of this. So if you already filled that out, cool, whatever. Have a good one, guys. Peace.